home builders have had the upper hand and been able to really do whatever they want for the last couple of years, and buyers have been able to really say nothing about it, as there was no other choice. As we've said, it's been the wild, wild west in real estate, and new construction was a big part of that. But the tides have turned a bit, and some things have started to change. So are the builders ready for that? Because I'm seeing some new and very welcome changes, and as far as I'm concerned, it's fantastic and a huge breath of fresh air for my buyers. So today, we're talking about how this shift in the market is affecting new home builders here in the Nashville area and you as buyers. So if this is your first time visiting my channel, my name is Jennifer Gramling and I'm a real estate agent here in the Nashville area, and I just put out weekly content trying to get you more familiar with Nashville. If you're thinking about moving here or relocating, this is going to be a great channel for you. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be the first to see these videos as they're coming out. And as I said, I'm an agent in the area. I work with people every day, just like you, helping them to relocate. So if you have any questions at all, or you need anything in regards to moving or relocating here, be sure to reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer any and all of your questions. You can email, text, call, all the links are in the comments. There's also a Calendly link in there if you'd like to set up a Zoom call with us. Be sure to do that. Okay, so what about these home builders behaving badly? Okay, well, I've seen some pretty crazy things that we just haven't seen in the past from these builders in the last couple of years. So this is a very common one. So I've seen things like 100% non-refundable deposits for any reason, which if the builder is requiring a 10% deposit, that's a huge chunk of money. Think about that. So $60,000 on a $600,000 home. And I've had clients put up $200,000 on a $2 million house. And that can be really stressful if you're waiting a year and have no idea if something could go wrong between now and then. So you have to be really confident in your situation if you're putting up that much money as non-refundable deposit. Another thing we're seeing is no home sale contingencies. That's been a thing of the past for a while. So if you have a home to sell, you're not sure if you can sell it, that home sale contingency is out. So you need to make sure that you can sell your house if you don't have that contingency in there. I've seen builders put a clause in their contract that basically says, this is the price now, but we don't know what the price will be when it's finished. But whatever that price is at the end of construction, you have to accept it and pay it. And if you don't, you lose that entire deposit, which in some cases, again, was over $100,000, $150,000. So none of my clients did this, but I do know some people did. And I guess you have to have just unlimited funds to agree to this, because who knows what the price point could end up being at the end of that year to year and a half long build, who knows? And then we've had to put homes under contract and wait 4 months or so for an increase of cost estimate, get that quote, and then decide if we are still moving forward. Sometimes those quotes would come back to $50,000 to $80,000 over what we agreed to at contract. So luckily, they would have gotten their deposit back if they were to back out of the contract at that time. So we could have gotten the deposit back, but you won't get back those 4 months that you sat there waiting just to see what that increased number was going to be. Builders basically had to have no customer service, never answer their phones, never respond to questions, because there was always a line of folks right behind you waiting to take that house off their hands. Now, to be clear, this wasn't every builder, and some, of course, still gave fantastic customer service and were great to work with. But many of the policies were out of the salespeople's hands, and it was what it was. Another downside was that many builders were not allowing anyone to pick their finishes or make any choices at all. With supply chain issues and delays on product, pricing changing, plus I would have to guess that it just made their process easier, but many would just have their designer make all the selections and price it, and then after drywall, just put it on the MLS like any other listing, in which case they would accept offers and the highest price, etc., etc. But even the smallest changes you could not make or tweak. So again, it was just a take it or leave it kind of a situation. So all of that just made it harder to want to buy a new build, but also inventory was so very low that it was at least an option if you could find one. So even if all the strings attached made it not as attractive, people were still buying them like crazy. Fast forward to today, and the landscape looks a little bit different. If you haven't watched my most recent market update video, be sure to do that next to get the full lowdown on that. Homes are still not on the market long, but they are sitting for a little bit longer than they were because now people have choices. And while it's still a seller's market, there is still way more opportunity for my buyers. And thanks to rising interest rates, inflation, and uncertainty about the economy, a few buyers have stepped back, but this is a very good thing. It makes way for buyers who were previously out of the game and gives more choices to my buyers. And since many people would like to have a resale home and now there are so many more available, People are opting for this rather than waiting all that time for a new build to be complete. Also, it's important to add that if you were buying a new build and it's months to a year away from being complete, you're also running into uncertainty of where rates will be when you can actually lock that interest rate in. Or also locking and paying that fee for a very long-term lock that some people just don't want to worry about. They'd rather buy something now, knowing where the price of the house is and where that interest rate is today. So what does all this mean and what am I seeing personally? Well, I'm seeing the tides turn and things being so much better for my buyers. I'm seeing so much more inventory, not only in the resale, but in new construction as well. I'm seeing builders allowing buyers to choose lots and build from scratch. And I'm also seeing a lot of spec homes and market homes coming onto the market as well. I'm seeing many choices for my buyers and them being able to actually take a minute and make some real decisions and choices. One thing I'm seeing is builders offering some great incentives that we previously hadn't seen, at least in the recent past, and that they previously didn't have to offer. So because some of those interest rates are much higher now, some of those builders are offering to buy down that interest rate for the buyers so that they can still get into one of these homes for the interest rate that they would have gotten months ago. And that is very exciting. And that can equate to hundreds or thousands of dollars a month, depending on your loan amount. So that is really fantastic. And while some of the contingencies that we talked about before are still in place, some have gone away. So many of the builders still will have that non-refundable deposit. However, I have seen some very nice builders, including some luxury builders, allowing my buyers to have their home sale contingency back in their contract. Obviously, that doesn't apply to all the builders, but that even some are allowing it is really great progress. The contingency, like being able to raise the price however much they want and you signing up carte blanche, that is no longer a thing. And as far as I know, builders who are requiring you to wait and sign off on an upcharge months later has also gone by the wayside now. And I'm also seeing things like builders raising their commissions to real estate agents to bring them buyers. And I'm seeing them offer bonuses to realtors in order for them to bring buyers. So this is finally just bringing some of the buying and selling back into balance, more where it should be, where these new builds are concerned. And here's the thing, I think that new builds honestly are probably going to be affected some of the most as far as the market shift goes, just because of uncertainty of interest rates and where those might end up in a few months. And if you could lock in something right now on an existing home, people might opt for that. And I also think that the builders are going to have some other contracts being canceled, more with people had previously signed, and I think we're seeing some of that already. So maybe someone signed on to buy a house and weren't able to lock in the rate at the time, and now if the rate that is available to them is up 2%, that could very likely be enough to push them past their budget on a home that they could previously afford, in which case they may have to back out. So now the builders are going to need to put those homes back onto the market, and that will just add to their inventory that they're already currently trying to sell. So all of this to say, this is a great time to buy a new build home. There are more new construction homes on the market than I've seen in the last 2 years, with some great new neighborhoods coming up and current neighborhoods going in. You're finally gonna have some choices. You can be treated with some level of respect as a buyer, and you might even be able to get some incentives while doing it. This is the time we've been waiting for, so get out there and get one of these new builds under contract. Again, my name is Jennifer Gramling. I'm a real estate agent here in the Nashville area. If you have any questions at all about buying a new build here in Nashville or a resale home, I will be glad to answer any and all of your questions. So be sure to reach out to me with any and all of your questions. Also, if there's a video that you're wanting to see, be sure to drop it in the comments and we will try to get that done. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next video.